A Sacrifice 2024. This is a psychological drama and it stars Eric Bana, Sadie Sink, and Sylvia Hoeks. It's a very modern drama taking on a lot of current societal anxieties, I think, especially environmental matters like climate change, the whole falling apart of society, and the existential angst that the younger generations seem to be heading into. I'm Generation X, and I grew up with certain levels of anxiety anyway. The Cold War and the threat of mutually assured destruction during the 70s and 80s. Although they subsided when the Soviet Union was dismantled and the Berlin Wall fell and many Eastern European countries got their independence. I think all of the anxieties have reappeared in some ways. The geopolitical tensions have certainly built up all over again. And I remember in the noughties, about 20 years ago, there was a book, I think it was called 2014. It was about how that was more or less the turning point of the 21st century. It was going to be, we had 70 years from 1989, 1990, so nearly a quarter of a century where things were calm. There was this holiday from history. There were other tensions that built up during the noughties, the 11th of September attacks, the war in Iraq. Plenty happened in the noughties, plenty happened in the 1990s as well. There's always history, I think, and the holiday from history is a bit of a misnomer. But in 2014, there was the war in the Donbass and Crimea. So that prediction seems to have been accurate. I remember also a book that came out a few years after that was called The War with Russia 2017. So there's always been disturbing predictions about things that may be happening or about to happen. And well, we've had the impending risks of climate change for many decades now, and it feels like it hasn't been listened to enough. That's my impression. And I was involved with local Friends of the Earth groups, one in particular, for many years. And there seemed relatively little interest in the 90s and the noughties. We campaigned for warm homes, for insulation, for a lot of the things that more recently groups like Extinction Rebellion and Just Stop Oil have a campaign for in a more direct way. But there's always pushback. There's always people wanting to continue to use fossil fuels. Little is being done, or too little is being done too late, it feels, to ameliorate climate change. Now, the film covers environmental matters, that sort of environmental angst, and it's affecting young people, late teens, and more into their 20s. There's a cult that's developed. It's set in Germany as well, and it's like, I'm going to have to put in a content warning for this, but it's situations with mass suicide scenarios. There's a few charismatic leaders who never put themselves on the line. It's a bit like Heaven's Gate. Was that in 1997? There was a Jonestown massacre in Guyana in 1978. There have been the situations. In 1993, a former colleague of mine kept talking about a commune in the States where he would go. He really liked the atmosphere there. There was something pretty awful that happened to that group, and it really had a big impact on those of us who knew this lad. It was really awful. There are these cults that develop every so often, organisations that attract people into their ideology, and their sort of message that they put out is about saving humanity or saving the planet. I mean, this one seems to be more about saving life on Earth, but not humanity. Hence, I suppose that's the argument they used for ending lives. There's another element to this story, and that's an American investigator who's come over to Berlin, and his daughter has as well. And she meets someone who's attracted to this organisation, and so she gets put at jeopardy, and that's the main tension in this film. So all of this is happening, and I thought it was well done to start with, the first half of the film, I would say. And then gradually, I felt more cynical and I felt it wasn't as plausible as it could be. I just felt the way it developed towards the end, the plot twists, kind of made it feel a bit samey, a bit similar to other films I've seen. I won't say what they are simply for the risk of spoilers, but felt I've seen something similar. It left a bad taste in my mouth, eye rolling. I thought, oh gosh, is that how it's going to go? So there was this sort of other layer, which is like this father with his 20-something daughter. He's looking after her during the holidays, but his estranged wife has been looking after her mainly. And so she's kind of angry with him for abandonment. There's this situation that when she was young, he froze when he saw her nearly drown, taken away into the sea during a riptide. And it was her mother who actually rescued her. And so there's that also playing on his mind. There's only a few possible scenarios for how it can develop. And I thought, oh, I think I'll score it 6.75. So not brilliant. Okay, it's watchable, but not the best kind of film for me. Not something I'd want to watch again. And I could see good qualities about it, the drama, the build-up at the start. That element I liked, as I said. It kind of trailed off for me, so that's my thoughts on it. I'd love to know what you think about it. Thanks if you like this review. Thanks if you subscribe. Hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.